You're not bonded by love. You're not even bonded by trauma. That's not even your soulmate. You're bonded by bills. You cannot financially afford to leave, so you stay. Would you believe that there is somebody laying next to you right now? Or you could be laying next to somebody right now that hates your guts, but because they are not in a financial position to leave, they go through the motions and they fake it, but secretly they can't stand you. But because they can't stand on their own, they refuse to leave the relationship. This is not your woman. This is not your man. This is your roommate. This is your biggest hater. And you are sleeping with the enemy and you don't know it. It's not a trauma bond. It's not a soul tie. It's not a love bond. You're bonded by bills. And this is why I tell people, in order for you to be grown, you have to have your own. You cannot spell grown without O-W-N. We get a lot of people that think that it's a flex to have somebody pay all of the bills, to have somebody take care of them. And then when you want to leave the relationship, you don't have the financial stability to leave. So now you are a prisoner. You are a prisoner for sitting back and becoming content and being extremely lazy. Repeat after me. You cannot be grown until you have your own. There is no greater feeling than being financially liberated.
Sleeping with the enemy story time. Trigger warning though, there are some very sensitive parts in this story time, and you'll want to listen the entire story to the end. I'll put several parts, so here goes. We'll call my friend Melissa. Her husband will call him Marlon, and her friend will call him Steve. Quick backstory: Melissa is Jamaican, living in Jamaica, but she has had a bad life, so she decided that she would go on the work and travel program to go overseas to make a better life for herself and possibly her family. Reason being, when she was younger, she had a very traumatic childhood. Her father would normally touch her. Her uncle would molest her, or SA her, as we would say, and it led to the point of her getting pregnant and not knowing who the father of the child is, because both her uncle and her dad was messing with her at the same time. The mother knew, and one night, naturally me always know, go over her house, and in the middle of the night she wake up because she was feeling excruciating pain and she was bleeding. So I was like, girl, no man, your period run hard, because the entire bed was soaked. Lo and behold, her mom is the person who put the pills in her food or drink the night and caused her to lose the baby. But this was something we found out later down, way down, but you'll hear all of this in the story time. Let's fast forward now to Melissa getting the opportunity to leave and overseas now and working. Remember, the initial plan is to find someone who can assist her with getting her papers. She never find nobody, but then she did stumble upon this guy. She never had a thing to get married to the guy because the guy was a genuine friend to her in the initial part. She did lose her way because with everything that has happened to her in her childhood, she did start say God can't exist and allow these things to happen to her and make she can't overcome it. However, when she meets Marlon, Marlon kind of turn her mind and bring her back to a place of somewhat contentment, because he was very grounded in the church, very Christian like. She used to drink and she would have smoke occasionally, and Marlon turned her mind from doing all of that. He would have sometime OD and condemn her with the little drink, should have do, remember occasionally she didn't do it all the time. And she eventually stopped drink, she eventually stopped go out, and Marlon persuaded her to come in the church because he must say, you know what, him want give him life to God and him want anybody where him safe, fitting or suitable to be a wife, to be a woman of God as well. When he tells she that, she shocked, because she was like, God, is this really you? Like, because the man start put talk to say want to get married and whatever. Wherein she never expect all of this, because like I say, she look for Marlon as a genuine friend. And Mel nobody cost me if you see that video, yeah. I don't know if she did on TikTok, but yeah. So after being there for a year, and dating Marlon, throughout that period of the year, Marlon decides that, hey, I want to take it up a notch, I want to start a family because I have no kids and I want to get married. She now feel, anybody would have feel lucky, anybody would have feel pleased, overjoyed, because you're not going to go through the struggle of marrying to someone who just collect the money and probably have a shackle for money. So Melissa start feel highly blessed with everything that's going on, and how, because Marlon would have normally come in, cook for her, rub her foot, and all of that. Fast forward now to Melissa now being pregnant, and things started to happen one by one. The first red flag was the fact that when Marlon come in from off of the road, if him buy food, him eat the food first and then offer her some. Him not ask her initially if she wants some at no point in time. So she normally take it because she would have hungry and she constantly sick. So some of the time she never did at work and then I thought she never really have much hours. So she naturally hungry and just take it. Later down him push her and say an accident. So she start wondering now if Marlon is getting physical. Him saying not get physical, him are just human and she's looking for perfection and he's not perfect. Right? She did end up save long and hard from taking care of old people and she buy one little car. Marlon never have no car before because him claims that him selling car because it like him too much problem. Long story short, later on when we hear about it, we got to find out that Marlon had no car. Anywho, Marlon had the car now and Marlon drive to and from work, and would you believe the lady have to walk or go work when she have work because they never have no money for taking no Uber. And her.
So I've talked to you guys before about the importance of not sleeping with the enemy, but I recently came across the perfect analogy and I want to share it with you guys. So this woman is looking for a pet. And instead of getting a cat or a dog, she decides that she wants to be a little bit different and she gets a pet python. Now, immediately her family and friends warn her, pythons could be really dangerous, but she's like, no, this pet python here is really lovable. He wouldn't hurt a fly. This is my friend. And so, every night when she goes to bed, she's like snuggled up with the python. The python always wraps himself around her at night. And one time they fall asleep like that. And so she ends up making that a daily occurrence. So she started sleeping with the pet snake every single night for weeks and weeks and weeks. But over that time, she started to notice that her pet snake started eating less and less. And eventually, the pet snake stopped eating altogether. So she's really, really concerned. She takes the pet snake to the vet and she's like, I'm not sure what's going on. He stopped eating and I don't really know what's going on with him. And the doctor says, the reason why the pet snake has stopped eating is because he was preparing for a big meal. The pet snake was actually preparing himself to eat you. The snake wanted to swallow that woman whole. So my whole thing with being a dating coach and talking to you guys a lot about relationships and all of that is not being in relationships with people who look or plot or plan to swallow you whole. Have you ever been in a relationship with a man and then when you guys break up, that's when you realize how much this man couldn't stand you and you're like, how we're together all these years and this man can't stand me, but he won't show his hand. He won't show that he was plotting and planning. He won't show his contempt for you until it's over. And my point is some men will stay next to you. They'll be side by side with you, sleep next to you every night, kiss you on your doggone forehead, mwah, and can't stand you and wish to swallow you.
What if I told you that some of the things that you have the greatest intimacy with in your life may be sent on assignment to steal, kill, and destroy from you? The Lord gave me this word called sleeping with the enemy. And he took me to Judges 16, which is the account of Samson and Delilah. And if you haven't read this, I urge you to, but here are the spark notes. Delilah was sent on assignment to Samson's life to find out what his weakness was so she could turn him over to his enemy and they could defeat him. But here's the problem, and what a lot of us deal with. The Bible also says that Samson loved Delilah. And I wonder how many of us are struggling with our sin because we have great intimacy with it, or we are in love with the very thing that was assigned to our lives to defeat us. And the Holy Spirit said, how many of my children are foregoing the consequence or the cost of sin because of their short-term comfort? Because here's the thing, the wages of sin are death. And so oftentimes we stay in relationships or patterns of behavior because of short-term comfort, not knowing that death is soon to follow. The truth is that something that can give you comfort in one season can torment you in the next, which is exactly what happened to Samson. And another thing is sometimes the devil is your dealer. But spoiler alert, all his deals lead to death. And so the next time you are faced with sleeping with the enemy, flee and choose life.
I have seen y'all comments, so it's time for a story time. I just got back in from the Bulls game. The Bulls won, so I'm feeling real good. Let's go ahead and do the story time. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Now look, I don't know how many stories or parts this is gonna be because it is a lot, okay? This year was crazy. Now we're gonna start with how it all started though. My life was going great until I met this nigga. Now, It all started in March of 2023. I met this guy. He came flying around the corner in his Porsche, looking good. Car was looking good. And I was delivering some wine because I have a wine business. If you didn't know, I'm going to tell you about that later too. My wine is getting dropped off to this guy who ordered some bottles. This guy in this nice-ass Porsche pulls up on the side of me like, hey, babe, can I get your number? Can I take you on a date? And here goes my stupid ass. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But wait, can you buy some wine? And he's like, yeah, you sell wine? I'm like, yeah, I got my own wine company. He's like, oh, okay, that's dope. You know, yeah, give me 2 bottles. Got my stupid ass right there. I'll give him 2 bottles. He give me the money. Thank you, supporting my business, you know, looking like a goofy. Not knowing that this man is going to ruin my fucking life. If I would have knew he was crazy, how he was fucking crazy, I would have ran the other fucking way. That's why, ladies, if you dealing with a nigga with a baby mama, ask the baby mamas how he is, because them bitches don't lie. You got some that do, though, so be cautious. But this man was just so nice in the beginning. Like, I swear, he got me, y'all. I got into a car accident just in a week of us talking. I was on the phone with him, and my car got hit by someone who ran a red light. And I could have died in that accident. My car was entirely fucked up, total. Like, the windshield was cracked down the middle. Like, I was really in a badass state. I couldn't walk. My entire body was bruised up. Like, I got hit really bad. Like, I went to the trauma unit. This man went with me to the hospital in the ambulance. My mama was there. They wouldn't let him or my mama to the back of the hospital. They're like, no, you guys gotta wait. Y'all, this man did not leave my side in the hospital. When I woke up, this man was still in the hospital with me. And me just being a girl, I'm like, that's my husband. Oh my God, niggas not waiting in the hospital with you. Like, I was definitely trauma bonding. And thinking back on it now, it's like, wow, I didn't see those signs, because you don't even know me for real. Like, you don't know me. And don't get me wrong, it can be love at first sight, but after just a month of us dating, it started going downhill, and I should have walked away. And that's why I'm telling any young woman that's in a relationship, once you see them signs, I don't care if they yell at you, I don't care if they curse you out, they call you out your name, they break something, I don't care if it's small, I don't give a fuck if they break a lamp. Leave. And I'm telling you that just from my experience, because I have always been the type of woman where I have always left. I always left the littlest thing. I had an ex-boyfriend who slapped the fuck out of me, and I left him that same day. And I got with this man, and I could not leave him. And I was like, oh my God, like, God, please. But let me get back to the story. After the car accident, he was just by my side. He never left my side. He just was there for me, like, there. And he showed up. He made sure I got to my events. He made sure that I was at my best friend's birthdays, dinners. Like, he was there. He had 2 cars. And I'm like, damn, this man, okay, he getting his shit together. You know, this man got a trucking company. He doing his shit. He, in fact, did not have a fucking trucking company. That was a fucking lie. And I found that out later down the line. The lies just started to come out. And when I started finding out the truth, I should have walked away, and I did not. And that first month, we got into an argument, and I told him, I just want to be single. I don't think this is for me. Because I knew that I wasn't supposed to be in a relationship, especially the way that it was going, only in a month. And I stayed. And I honestly feel like a part of me stayed because of that car accident. I felt like he never left my side, so I feel like I should give him another chance. Don't feel like that. If you feel like that for any reason, if they're helping you, you can do it by yourself. I will help you. But the first time we got into an argument and I told him that I didn't want to be in a relationship no more, this man punched my TV. He punched my fucking TV on my fucking wall and ripped that bitch off of my wall and stomped on that bitch. I got up and I was like, because I was in the other room, I'm like, did you just break my TV off my wall? And he told me, and this is when I should have walked away, yeah, you don't fucking break up with me. And I was like, wow. And I still have the videos, and I look back at them on the days when I miss him, because nobody that loves you is ever going to treat you like that. But let me go ahead and tell y'all the rest of the story, because it gets worse. Now, when I say shit got worse, shit got worse. I started finding out just little lies about him, and I just stayed. And what's so crazy is, by our second month of dating, he was already moving into my space. And his reasoning when we would fight about this was because he had 2 cars, so why would I go get another car if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, and I could just use his cars and he could just live with me instead of paying rent at his place, you know? So originally he told me that he was living with his aunt, and he was going to be moving into his mom's house, and, you know, he was going to leave some stuff at his mom's, and then, you know, he was just going to come stay with me, you know, on the days when, you know, we wanted to be under each other. In fact, that was not his fucking aunt's house. Y'all, this man had me downstairs waiting at another bitch house while he was moving his shit out. This man told me that this house was his auntie house, and this lady was his auntie. Now, I never met this bitch. I never met her. I didn't even really know who the bitch was until his daughter ended up opening her mouth when he went to jail. So I didn't find out that this was not this man's auntie until after he went to jail. He went to jail in December of 2023. So y'all do the math. We were together in March of 2023, and then he went to jail December 2023. So our relationship really didn't last long. It lasted so long because I still stayed with him while he went to jail. But that's another story, okay? We're going to get to that part later. This man was lying to me. I'm thinking this lady is his auntie. No, she in fact was a woman that was helping him after he got out of jail, and he was staying with this lady. This man lied through his teeth. And even then, when I confronted him about it, he still was telling me that this lady was his auntie. Y'all, when I tell you, women are crazy nowadays. So for you to have me downstairs at a woman's house while you moving your shit out to come live with me, oh no, you got it. I didn't. Now, if I would have knew this back then, when this shit was happening, I would have definitely left him. But I didn't find this stuff out until months later. Imagine how baffled I was, y'all. And it's coming from a child. It's not even coming from him. It's coming from a child. And I got to get confirmation from your mama. And your mama telling me, girl, he ain't got no aunties that live up here. Y'all. So this man did not have any aunties that lived in Chicago. His family lives in a whole nother state, like his aunts and stuff. So that was a lie. But I didn't find out that lie until 8 months later when he went to jail in December 2023. Now, what's crazy is as time went on, so we were together from March of 2023 to December of 2023, like in person. Y'all, when I tell you this man lied about almost everything, he had these 2 cars. He had a Porsche and an Impala. These were car notes, and these car notes were not paid. I ended up finding that out later once I had to start hiding them bitches when I would drive them. So you guys kind of see where it started to go. Like, he was putting up this facade like he was really that nigga, but no, he was in fact broke. He was fucking broke and got my stupid ass. I had a full-time job. I was working at home. I had a work-from-home job, and I was doing radio. I had a part-time gig at the radio station in Chicago. So I kind of was just doing, like, my own thing for it, and then I had my wine business. So I always had my own money. I didn't need him for money. I just honestly was fucked up at the time, and I didn't have a fucking car anymore because I had just lost my car because I started talking to him, and I got hit by somebody. As soon as I started talking to him, that was my sign right there. I should have left his ass alone. But I did not. Y'all, it started to get to the point where he started to want his kids to come over to my house. And me, I had a 3-bedroom house by myself. I never lived with anyone. I had my own crib that I prayed for because I used to sleep on couches and shit. And I was living in my mama's basement at one point at 20 and 21. And I was like, I gotta get out of my mama's damn house. And God blessed me with a 3-bedroom house. And y'all, I let this man come into my house and he destroyed my fucking house. Like, when I tell you this man ripped the door off the hinges, he was breaking all kind of holes in my house. Like, broke my sink in the bathroom, threw my microwave into the wall, broke my tables. Like, this man really was destroying my house and still had the audacity to ask me if his kids could come over on the weekends that he get them. No. His kids was fucking up my blinds. Y'all, when I tell you I was 25 at the time and I had it up to fucking there. Like, and when I tell you the fights would be because of that. Like, you destroying my shit and then you want me to deal with you and your kids? No. You gotta go and they gotta go because I'm not dealing with this shit. No. If I wanted kids, I would have had my own fucking kids. I'm 25 and I don't got time for this shit. Y'all, I say all that to say I still fucking stayed. We listen and we don't judge. But I'm gonna give y'all part 2 now.